A little peep into the world of EK from H3. Vape Nation!
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Tom Dark channel. I am your host, Tom Dark, and today I will be talking about Ethan Klein. He's someone I've followed for like 7 years now, which is honestly hard to believe, and what's even harder for me to believe is that we've now passed the point where for half of that time, I've also hated him, which is kind of sad because he was a pretty likable and funny guy prior to his more recent history. And for a while, it was like, okay, H3 changed, he sucks now, but he was cool and he had the chance to change and he could improve. That's what we all thought would happen. There was sort of a optimistic outlook on the entire thing. Gokanaru, a commentary YouTuber, really was the guy to break the ice on all of that stuff. While his original video is now removed, it was a really impressive and interesting upload that at the time put together the way a lot of people have been feeling about H3H3 productions. He brought up a lot of criticisms he had for H3, and it seems like Ethan had really changed for the worse. Gokanaru also had a lot of like cool cinematic elements in his video which really tied things together and made it feel like a really eventful, high-stakes video that people needed to pay attention to. And they did. That video got over 1.5 million views. So, having seen the video, Ethan decided to do a podcast indirectly responding to the criticisms, and he seemed to really get some of it. He seemed to realize that he had been just a completely miserable guy, he seemed to realize that he had been kind of an asshole, and he recognized a lot of his personal shortcomings as a result of that.
That I am guilty of all of those things. And I'm not going to quantify it or make excuses or anything.
I was honestly impressed when you just straight up just admitted that. I was very impressed. And I was like, okay, this guy has clearly had some time to reflect.
I'm not surprised that so many people have watched this podcast and been like, whoa, that's not the guy I thought he was. Or people who were making videos about like all the things I mentioned. Because, yeah, it is all in here. Everything you guys have said bad about me and that you've noticed, all my bad personality traits and all that, it's all in here.
I didn't expect that he would actually own up to the criticisms, and he did.
So things were looking up for a while. It seemed like Ethan was going to change and it would be alright. It's kind of funny watching this video now and going through all of this stuff. I almost forgot how old this video from Gokanaru was. This podcast and his response to it were both uploaded in November of 2018. That is more than 3 years ago now. It's like 3 years and 4 months that have gone by. And where are we now? Where did all of that time passing get us in the Ethan Klein timeline, in the Ethan Klein story, in the long downward spiral of H3H3 productions? Well, I know you guys are probably aware that I've already talked about Ethan at length during that time and since then, but it should probably be clear to you guys that nothing has changed. In fact, Ethan has not only not improved, right? He hasn't gotten better, he hasn't changed for the better at all, or even made efforts to. He's not only stagnated, meaning staying the same, right? Like not moving either worse or better, staying in the middle there. Instead, he's drifted further and further into this pit of annoying, cringy hypocrisy, and has really just degenerated into an insufferable and really indefensible person. Like, I don't know if he has any good qualities anymore. I don't know if there's anything good or likable about his personality in the slightest. He's just kind of an asshole. He's a guy who constantly changes his opinions, doesn't really stand for anything, and is a piece of shit. You guys know those movies that are so bad they're actually good? Think of the classics like The Room or Sharknado. Movies that are so poorly made that they're actually entertaining to watch. There are people on the internet that are pretty funny to make fun of and talk about and watch despite the fact that they're unlikable, right? We usually call them lol cows. Wings of Redemption, DSP, just to name a few, are people who are so sad and strange that it becomes comical. There are forums, websites, and entire videos and channels dedicated to them. There are content creators built around documenting their every move because they're so entertaining to watch. Video after video comes out analyzing, making fun of, and commenting on the fact that their misery is just so entertaining, right?
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
This is something that I'm guilty of partaking in, this kind of internet culture. I love talking about guys like that. But that is not the case with Ethan Klein. Watching him turn from a cool, interesting, relatable, and honestly likable guy into this kind of sad husk of his former self has been something that I have not enjoyed at all. Someone who is wholly self-interested and hypocritical and snide and spiteful all of the time and has been a painful ride down to the bottom. It's been an extremely painful and gut-wrenching experience to watch him fall from grace that I honestly have not enjoyed. And it's not getting any more fun either. It's just a bad time, and that's really what it's been for the entire time. Okay, that's not totally true. Honestly, I think the first drama was good because while it was high stakes, while it was funny, while it had some fun to it, there was a little bit of optimism, right? Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there was some light at the end of the tunnel where we thought, okay, okay, maybe Ethan's gonna turn around.
And I don't think that that should be discounted as him just manipulating or being disingenuous. It seemed pretty fucking genuine to me.
I said those things. I did those things. I am that person. And it's good. It's good to acknowledge that and feel that and be like, it's good. You gotta accept that.
But that has been gone for a while now, and all that is really left is the knowledge that Ethan is a miserable bastard. Maybe he misses making his old videos, but every time he's on the podcast, he just kind of seems like he doesn't even want to be there, you know? And it's been interesting to watch as the entire internet as a whole has also turned on him and slowly just grown to really hate him. There was a time when the default opinion was to like Ethan Klein, right? He was seen as a cool guy, he was seen as one of the greats, one of the important classic YouTubers in the lineup. He went from being a nobody to being accepted by not only edgier YouTubers like Filthy Frank, Max Mofo, Anything for Views, that kind of crowd, right? But he actually got to the point where he was respected by everyone. He was a part of a change in internet culture that brought PewDiePie into more of an edgy, sort of out there personality, right? And he inspired a whole generation of commentary channels that came after him as well. But now it feels like the normal take is to just hate this guy. It's the default opinion, like it's not even a question. You go on half of the internet and they're just like, yeah, that guy fucking sucks. And the other half either doesn't know about him or you're in that small pool of people who still watch his content. And if you do, then I'm really sorry because there's something wrong with you. I didn't realize it, but his podcast channel is actually losing a lot of subscribers right now. And I can't exactly say why, like I don't know the science behind all of it, but I can speculate on it a little bit here. When Ethan Klein began his career, he was a pretty humble guy. He came from a pretty humble circumstance, right? He was not born wicked wealthy or anything like that. He was just a guy who wanted to make some videos on the internet to make people laugh. And he was pretty good at it, not gonna lie. Some of his old videos are pretty funny to me to this day. Maybe that says more about me than anything else, and the fact that my sense of humor has has remained somewhat unmoved since the age of like 14 years old, but he was genuinely a likable and charismatic guy. To this day, some of those videos where he's just like coughing incessantly and saying stupid shit are really funny to me. And I'm not even sure I can completely explain why.
Oh, I can't believe this. How many views does this have, you look?
Millions.
2 million. Oh. They only like guys who are trendy and have a great little haircut and wear tons of wristbands. Ah, I knew it. I knew it. I needed to do that. Ah, damn it. Ah, he's such a player, dude.
While it's true that he spent a lot of time mocking other people, there was a creative process involved that he took part in, and it was pretty cool. It was derivative, as all things are online, but he was still making something and doing something. There was a lot of original content there. He was not solely relying on his personality to get by. There was production he was involved in what he was doing, right? There was editing, there was a lot of filming going on, there were some funny skits. Despite the fact that Ethan is much older than the average YouTuber, and he even was at the time, right? I think when he blew up, he was in his like late 20s, early 30s on YouTube. He was still likable and had a good pulse on how the culture was feeling and what they were doing. He almost felt like a cool uncle. And when he made videos about politics, they didn't feel preachy, they didn't necessarily feel political. They felt like they were more of a common sense type of take he was having. He would mock cringelords in any context, just the same as he would in any other context. And it was great to see. It didn't feel like he was deriding one entire side of the political spectrum.
Game assassins out there, you think I was born looking this cool? No, I used to look like you, losing to noobs every day. That is until I discovered gamer gear that got my fashion on point and I never lose to noobs anymore.
Gamer Gear glasses help you see the game and look cooler than ever. And our trademark item, Gamer Water.
Dude, fuck yeah, man.
This water is pulsing with energy.
Fuck, dude, I can't see.
But at some point, this stopped being the case, and he kind of just became a fucking loser. I don't think it was the money, because he's had money for a while and a pretty nice house and all of that. So I don't feel that it was just like, the fame and money got to his head. I don't know exactly what it was. I see a lot of people say that. Maybe that played a part in it, but I don't know. He's had money for a while. I feel like that instant switch from not having money to having money wasn't the sole reason, right? I personally know a lot of people who are extremely wealthy. I know YouTubers who have more than $5 million in the bank, right? Like astronomically rich at a very young age. These are kids that are like 21, 22 years old, and they're set for life. Sounds nice, doesn't it? But when you talk to them, they're not like completely out of touch. They're not completely unrelatable. They're still nice. They're still relatable people who you can have a conversation with, have a laugh with, and it feels normal. It doesn't feel like you're speaking to someone who is totally out of touch, someone who is alien to you. But for whatever reason, Ethan has just turned into this conniving, annoying dork who honestly, I don't think I don't think I could even have like a decent conversation with him. He just kind of sucks to even listen to. I can't imagine being around him. I know a lot of people were pretty upset at Ethan for removing his podcast that he did with Jordan Peterson from a few years ago. I don't actually care about that. I think he said some really stupid shit in tandem about Jordan Peterson, but it doesn't really bother me per se that he removed the episode, right? Like, at the end of the day, I don't see it as a free speech issue or anything like that. It's his podcast, and he can do whatever he wants. In fact, the H3 podcast is so bad right now that any removal of it from the internet is probably a win within my book. I mean, I definitely do not want him to be censored or anything like that. I'm not advocating for that. He doesn't deserve that, but if Ethan himself decided to delete every podcast episode from existence, I mean, could I really complain? Could I really complain that I'll never have to see one of his dog shit podcast clips in my recommended ever again? The answer is no, because I absolutely despise every second of that podcast that I've had the displeasure of watching or even hearing about. But for whatever reason, Ethan has just become this stereotypical sleazy LA scumbag who makes your skin crawl. I wish there was a better way to articulate just how I feel about this, but I think a big part of it is that he seems to always have a new moral crusade to be on, and he seems to be constantly moving from viewpoint to viewpoint, position to position, as they become more and more convenient to be a part of for the purpose of being accepted by like LA celebrity culture. And it's in stark contrast to who he used to be. A good example of the audience he's accumulated lies in a podcast he recently did where he talked about Nicholas Diorio. Firstly, he pretended to not know who Nick was, which was pretty hilarious considering Nick and I did a video about Ethan that he directly acknowledged the existence of on his podcast. Between that and the fact that Ethan is constantly talking about Keemstar, there's no way he doesn't know the details of their past business relationship with Keem, right? He totally knows all of that. And just to add to the pile, in his videos, he's directly used clips of Augie RFC's live stream where Nick frequently appears, so he definitely knows who he is, right? But Ethan made fun of Nick's appearance on stream, which, not gonna lie, I guess it was a little funny.
I mean, you argue with people on the internet and you get charged up, and you gotta realize that you're probably talking to someone that looks like this. What I mean by that is a pimply-faced kid. He's a know-nothing.
This picture's from 2014, by the way.
These are the people, you gotta remember what's going on the internet. Like, if I met this kid in real life, I would literally just, you wouldn't think twice about it.
Oh!
Yeah, I mean, this is Nicholas Diorio.
Yeah.
That's a good one, AB.
With that Weekend at what was it? Weekend at Bernie's? What's that movie?
Oh no!
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's.
I've been exposed!
But then his audience, like the entire chat, starts getting mad at him for what they call body shaming Nick.
I didn't say a single freaking comment about his body.
Well, I guess you said that he was pimply.
What?
You said that he was pimply, I guess. Is that body shaming?
No.
Pimples?
Saying he has pimples? We all had pimples.
It's
My point
part
is
of,
that
like,
he's a child.
Yeah, that I'm a child of a 24-year-old. Wait, so your point was that I'm a child and then you realized I wasn't midway through your segment? That's not what you did, dude. That's not why you picked that picture, bro. When you go, oh, this is the kind of person going after you online, I don't believe you, dude. But here's the point, bro. This is the difference between me and you. I'm cool with it. Dude, you want to call me fat? Call me fat. That's perfectly fine. I just don't think that you're okay with the same kind of thing. And I think that in other situations, if this was happening to somebody else, I think you'd be quick to jump and defend that other person. So I don't know, bro. It's a little interesting.
Yeah. Okay, guys, am I not... let me ask you something. Am I not allowed to talk about anybody who's over... Like, what is your point?
Uh-oh!
I didn't make a single comment about his body.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Then nobody's allowed to talk shit about me. I'm fat. Don't say anything about me.
Keep in mind, his whole community was crying, dude. They were foaming out the fucking mouth crying that he said that Joe Rogan was, like, unhealthy or some shit and called him a steroids-taking, like, monster.
It's kind of weird to hear this because I don't think that Nick ever called Hila a horse. I mean, his criticisms for Ethan were pretty on point. I don't know if Nick has ever even made fun of Ethan's appearance, and, I mean, if you know what Nick looks like, you know he's not in a position to do that anyway. But the fact that Ethan's audience was upset at him for body shaming, when that used to be, like, the bread and butter of his content, making fun of people and the way they look and everything about them, just really shows how much things have changed. The Ethan Klein fanbase used to be somewhat edgy, but they were also pretty reasonable, down-to-earth people, right? It was just kind of your average person that could enjoy anything. People wanted to have a good laugh, and that was it. But now his fanbase is currently this amalgamation of, like, I don't know, T-channel viewers and the very same people he used to mock in his videos. The same, like, morally crusading cringe lords who constantly freak out at everything and try to cancel people are the same people Ethan has accumulated. And it's not a coincidence, it's because that's the kind of content he puts out now.
Some people were saying that you're celebrating his ban.
How am I celebrating?
Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going on inside their head?
So, Account Ban of the Year, this is a huge prestigious award. For me, it's got to be between Dr. Disrespect and Leafy.
I did not know Dr. Disrespect, and I barely know Leafy, but I knew about Leafy. I did not know about Dr. Disrespect.
Because, like, those are huge. Like, these guys...
Yeah. Leafy's come for me. He called me a piggy a bunch of times.
Yeah, well... You won't be doing it now.
He's banned.
All right, drum roll. Account Ban of the Year 2020. The winner, by a very close margin, is Leafy. Leafy, who lost it all. He was banned on YouTube and Twitch.
So that's his livelihood. That's
He's
what you're
pretty
talking
much, yeah, he's pretty much off. He's like Alex Jones, like, see ya. You know what I mean? Congratulations, Leafy. We'll definitely be getting you an award. Best Band Creator of 2020. You may not have any accounts, but you will have this award. So what do you call it when you are celebrating the removal of someone from Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and every platform? What do you call that?
Deplatforming.
That's what it's called. It's called deplatforming. Also, I would like to note that he is celebrating. He is groveling in his victory. Yes.
He has completely flipped, and unlike some people, I think that to an extent, this may have been a cynical, intentional move. Honestly, it just sucks to see how far the guy has fallen. I wanted to do a follow-up video on my other channel about it, but it would feel a little like, I don't know, it's not even a fall from grace anymore. The H3 story is now about scraping the bottom of the barrel, which I guess is all but unexpected at this point, but it really just sucks. Ethan really just sucks.
I mean, we've probably lost like 80% of our sponsors. The direct support is the future of this channel, I think, so we really thank our members. Someone says someone needs to kill Pokemon, and it has 1,400 likes. That doesn't seem very funny. That to me seems like extraordinarily fucked up.
Oh! Take that, Joe. City Council.
Oh God, I fucking hate the City Council.
We're kidding, by the way. Not an actual threat against Joe.
I don't know. When I saw this, does anyone really think this is funny or cool? I mean, it's kind of horrifically irresponsible and disgusting.
Seems to me like he does, but you have to acknowledge that this is so irresponsible of you to even engage in a comment like that. Even if his response is not technically serious because he's mentioning whatever it is. Just the fact that he's even engaging in a comment like that, you can't. You have a responsibility. You can't do that because you're promoting it.
I mean, I would block this person.
Right.
If I saw that, if on a video I was making fun of someone.
Anyway, that's really all I have to say for today. I wish I could have put out a happier, more upbeat video, but you know what? It just kind of sucks that Ethan is the way he is now, and there's no way around it. If you guys liked the video, then be sure to leave a like on it, and if you disliked it, then be sure to leave a dislike. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. It's always good to hear what you guys have to say about what I have to say, and thanks again for all of the support I've been getting recently. It's good to see that you guys really like the videos, you like the topics. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.